Nope.
Nope. Okay.
I didn't put this in
there,
but there's one more like kind of like it's a little like baity news item. It's not really. Well, I don't know.
Go for
you
it.
could consider it news.
Go for it.
Apparently, Heroes of the Storm had some PTR patch notes come up this week. They haven't updated that game in like a year and a half.
Checking.
And BlizzCon is next weekend, so people are like, are they gonna bring Heroes back at BlizzCon? Like, what's going on?
October 23rd. There were some icons. Abilities that bounce or require all targets to be visible. Wow. Will no longer hits invulnerable enemies. Increased experience. I'm looking through it. Bug fixes. Balance updates. Adjusted difficulty levels for a number of heroes. Increased windwalk. Yeah, what the frick? This is a lot. What the heck? This is a lot of bugs. Maybe they've been working on this for a really long time.
Yeah, the one dude that's still working on Heroes of the Storm.
Yeah. This is like, to me, a culmination of what patches would have been had this game been like... Because this is a lot of stuff. It's scrolling for bug fixes. I think somebody... Whatever the most recent patch was for this game, God help me, I don't know when.
I think it was like literally a year. It was like
so
in the spring of last year or something.
This is a year's worth more of bug fixes coming in before BlizzCon, right? Because when's BlizzCon again? Remind me.
It's next weekend. Yeah.
I would be shocked if I saw an announcement at BlizzCon that said
they're bringing back Heroes.
We've decided to start making updates to this game again. My sense is this is like hey, this game's in maintenance mode, we get it, but we still want to make sure we're fixing it for the community we have left. I have no idea what the player base is for this game. It's got to be tiny at this point, but let's jump back over here. But I think I would be shocked. There's a 0.01 chance in my mind that Phil Spencer comes onto the stage at BlizzCon to after they've talked about Diablo. You know, they got to talk about their big hitters, so they're going to probably start with like WoW, Diablo, Overwatch,
Hearthstone. Yeah.
Did you know Hearthstone stopped its esports scene?
I did not know that.
They cut it. They cut their esports scene completely, and they cut a bunch of other things. There's no esports in Hearthstone anymore. They cut that. That was interesting. So people thought Hearthstone's like dying, but
I wonder if Phil will actually come on the stage.
I bet he will.
BlizzCon. Now that the acquisition is complete, I wonder.
69% chance he gets on the stage.
Yeah, I'm with you. 69% chance sounds reasonable that we see Phil at BlizzCon.
I think we will. I think he's gonna walk on the stage to start it. I bet he walks the stage to start it. Everyone's gonna be like, "Oh my god, He's yeah. He's gonna just start doing his thing. He's gonna walk on the stage. It's not gonna be obviously like, you know, any of the Blizzard folks. It's gonna be Phil to start, and he's gonna talk about how they're so excited at Microsoft to be a part of the team. You know, we're really happy. We can't wait to tell you about all these updates. Additionally, at BlizzCon, they're going to show some gameplay for the survival game.
Yeah, probably.
They're going to show gameplay. And that's what's going to get the excitement going, is they're going to show some gameplay. That's going to be the big like hook on BlizzCon this year. There's a 0.01 chance a Heroes of the Storm dev comes on stage and says, "We're back." And there's like a huge fanfare.
Heroes is back,
confetti
baby.
shoots from the stage. You're like, "We're back, bitches." There's a 0.01 chance. But if that happens, you could bet your ass we are talking about it. I will be so excited. I will immediately jump back into the game. I will immediately jump back in if they do that. If they're like, "What's up,
Heroes
bitches? We're back!
Bitches!
We're back!" It's just like screaming. Everyone, and I hope everybody on the floor goes crazy, like, "Oh my god, what the fuck?" There's a 0.01 chance. Actually,
now that I think about it more, I think it would be a good idea for like Phil to kind of be like the host or like the main guy for
He should be.
BlizzCon, because let's be honest, like nobody likes the leads, the top of the top at BlizzCon,
Nah.
at Blizzard
No.
anymore. Basically,
It
those
should be
people
Phil.
all suck. So, and people generally like Phil, so I think Phil would be a smart move on their part.
Phil's the good play. Phil is the
Yeah.
correct play, I think. I think if you're if like, well, it's Microsoft now, but like if you're trying to make a statement, you're Phil, like you're in the room with all your Microsoft people, and you're having talks like, okay, this is the first big event that Microsoft officially is a part of. You know, Activision Blizzard
with Activision
Blizzard. We have to make a statement. Phil gets up from his chair at the top of the room. He says, "I'll go," and that's what it's supposed to be. I think if Phil's not on the stage, I would be disappointed. I think it should be Phil on the stage to start. He should give the address, like the Microsoft perspective address, and then he turns it over to whoever at Blizzard.
The devs for the different
To the devs.
games,
He turns.
right?
He immediately turns over. He says, "Welcome to BlizzCon." It should be him. That's going to be like the big. That's the big like, we're here kind of message. But he's very good. Like he's very good with stage presence, so he should be there.
I feel like there's a chance for like, look, and who knows if any of this stuff would like actually work or be any good. We know Blizzard does not have a good track record lately, but like they could make a splash this year at BlizzCon after the closure of the Microsoft acquisition. If Phil comes on and says like, if they do some things that the community like actually wants,
right.
Like I don't know, like bring back StarCraft and so like announce that like, hey, we've got. They won't have anything to show because it'll be too early on. But they're like, hey, we've got a new StarCraft game in the pipeline. Maybe it's not an RTS, but maybe it's something. But we've got a new game in the StarCraft universe in the pipeline. Right?
Yeah,
we're working on it.
He's gonna say we look forward to investing in the entire Blizzard portfolio, including
StarCraft. Heroes, maybe we get Heroes coming back.
Yeah, but
I'm kind of with you. I doubt it, but we'll see.
If it does, there better be some confetti that shoots out of the stage.
What if they did this? If they either like redid it or they like straight up fixed Warcraft 3 Reforged, like they made it what they originally wanted to make it, and then like Activision killed that fucking project.
Yeah,
like,
I mean that would be obviously like that would be exciting. They to be able to commit to that. I think they should commit to new things. Like I get the idea of like, let's fix what we screwed up on. I think they should just go with, okay, like first off, StarCraft is a flagship IP for Blizzard. It just is.
Yeah.
And they should be talking about investing in like their flagship IPs like StarCraft. They should be talking about, the future of Overwatch is such a weird subject, by the way. So they should figure out some way to like get people on board again with that.
Again, I'm sure people still play it, but like the monetization strategy for Overwatch 2 feels like there's no hype around that game. Like it's too expensive. Nobody likes the battle pass, the story mission crap that
was
did.
so
People
disappointing.
Like, this was like way too expensive, and it was just like dog shit for what it cost, right?
If he wants to make a splash with all these communities, he would announce like, okay, we're in the, we're in like the, I don't know what phase it would be, but like we're not developing StarCraft, but we're starting the process of thinking about it. We've got people.
It's in pre-production. It would be
pre-production. We're in pre-production. We're in pre-production. We started pre-production like, whenever. We're going to start it soon. Or just something like that. If he wants to talk about Blizzard in regards to Overwatch, he could say, we recognize that the story missions were scrapped. We're looking to bring that back. I mean, that would be a big splash. Yeah. If he was just like, you know what, we're going to try it.
Let's do it. Let's do a 180. Let's do a 180 on that.
We've decided to reinvest in that.
We're gonna bring back the story mode that we wanted to originally do.
Yeah, or they're like the story mode
before Bobby said, nah, that's not worth it.
Yeah, like reinvest the story mode or just make it like a separate game, I guess. Like that's like I don't know. They need to talk about the survival game. That's that new IP survival game. I mean, Diablo's
that's been floating around.
Yeah, Diablo's
I'm sure they'll talk about more seasons for Diablo, and they'll probably tease whatever the first expansion is. Actually, there was some leaks about the first expansion that it was going to be called like Lord of Hatred or something, and it was going to be focused on Mephisto, which makes sense. Which makes sense after the end of the
so
story.
maybe they'll tease that at BlizzCon. Maybe that's the idea. They'll tease it.
So
they'll tease that at BlizzCon. You know, WoW. They'll maybe a new expansion will be announced. Who knows with WoW?
Yeah.
Or like another classic expansion will be announced along with it. Hearthstone. I mean, Hearthstone's already working on a new expansion, so they'll be talking about that, from what I understand. There's a mobile game that's coming out also. There's like a weird mobile game coming out under Blizzard's portfolio, so they'll talk about that, I'm sure. I'm just trying to think of other IPs besides that. You know, Heroes. I really don't see Heroes, but 0.01% chance.
Heroes of the Storm 2. Heroes of the Storm 2. Run it back.
Heroes of the Storm 3. Phil comes on. I was a huge Stitches main, so I can't wait to jump into Nexus. And I was just, oh my god! Don't see it, but I think, yeah, given BlizzCon being next week, Phil should be there. If Phil's not on the stage, I think that's a miss. I would call it a miss, because this is like the acquisition recently came through. You're making a statement, and Phil's good on stage. He's good on stage. Get him on stage. Yeah. He's good. He's very good.
People like Phil. People like Phil.
He is a great stage presence. It's kind of like what's his name? Whatever his name is, Howard from Bethesda.
Todd Howard.
Todd Howard has actually pretty good stage presence.
Reggie back when he worked for Nintendo.
Yeah, Reggie had good stage presence. They get the people with good stage presence on there. Phil has good stage presence. Get him in there. He should be in there. He should be the keynote. You know, Todd Howard is the keynote for Bethesda all the time. I mean, he was at the time the CEO before, but he still is. But he's got good stage presence. Todd has good stage presence. Get the good stage presence in there. Phil should be there. Anyway.
So yeah, we'll see next week, and I think the opening ceremony is on Friday, and then there's some more stuff on Saturday.
Okay,
so.
But the opening ceremony is when we'll know. So by podcast time, we'll know if Phil has dawned the stage with his divine presence. Yeah. As we say it here. I think you should.
I think they're doing I think they announced the schedule I looked at. I think they're doing a Diablo like campfire chat, as they call it, like a dev stream, like as one of the panels, right? Yeah. I don't remember when that was.
Every game is going to have a panel, of course. Yeah. Diablo not being an exception. Diablo 4, I mean, I'm sure actually Diablo, I'd be surprised.
They'll probably have some stuff for Immortal as well. Like that game exists.
Yeah, Immortal. They might have something for Immortal. I was just thinking that. So I don't know. BlizzCon's always like weird. This year I'm gonna feel optimistic this year. Like last year I was gonna say, I think last year I probably would have been more pessimistic. This year I'm gonna feel optimistic to see what exactly is going to be the shift within that company, within that part of the company, I'll say.
Yeah.
Now that Microsoft is officially taking over.
I guess like D4 was probably pretty big at last year's BlizzCon.
Oh yeah. D4 was definitely big.
But Overwatch had like just come out, and
Hearthstone's Hearthstone. Like, there's nothing for StarCraft.
And I think like the WoW expansion came out sometime last year. The Dragonflight came out last year as well. So yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm looking forward. This year I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to try and stick to be optimistic.
Yeah.
So, okay. Besides BlizzCon, you said maybe a bit more Diablo Season 2. I mean, I'm in the same bucket. I'm still working on my Lightning Ball Stork.
Yeah.
Ball Stork is good.
That is literally like, I think, the most busted build in this season. It's ridiculous.
I was like, hey, wait a second.
Ball Lightning Circ is nuts.
It's nuts. I'm already figuring out how nuts it is. It just shreds. It shreds bosses like nobody's business. It's really fun. It's got great sustainability. It's really surprisingly hard to kill this sorcerer too.
Yeah, it's pretty tanky.
It's tanky, and it does a shit ton of damage, and it's got good AoE because you can just run around with it. you Frost Nova. Like, it's great. I'm like, I kind of am glad I decided to do a more lightning Stork based build. The lightning ball I just happened to kind of stumble on as a good build, and then like, yeah, this is good. This has been fun so far. I am level 56 right now, I believe.
You're in tier 3. You're in tier 3.
Tier 3. But it's fun. I'm having a good time. I'm still figuring things out, which is great. I'm enjoying it. So that's been my Diablo experience still. It's fun. I don't play it as much as I did, on that first week, but I still play it like every other day at this point for a couple hours. So, did you end up deciding to build a seasonal character, yes or no?
Yeah, I played like 30 minutes of a seasonal character. I got to level 4 on a necromancer and haven't really had the desire to go back. I don't know, I burned myself out a little bit. I think I played too much that first week. I got my sorcerer to level 100, and then I tried fighting Uber Lilith for a little while, and that made me hate my life. That fight is dog shit.
No.
It's horrible.
I'm not even trying to contest that at all.
It is just, if you can't one-shot her, if you actually have to play the mechanics, it's just a one-shot fest. It's just like, and you have very little reaction time. The hitboxes are dog shit. The telegraphs are dog shit. Like, it's a horribly designed fight. Like, I'm gonna be honest, it's awful.
I'm not contesting at all. I've seen it in the Lightning Ball Sork build. He fights Uber Lilith,
and they just one shot it.
He obviously makes it look like a joke because like it's ball, like the lightning ball is dumb. You don't have
to play the fight. You walk up to her and she dies.
And she you eventually just get her down and she dies, and you skip mechanics because you kill her so fast. So like, and you're just so tanky. Like you're just too tanky to care. You have so much ability to be immune and get barriers and like maneuverability that it makes it look easy, but it just like, I was watching it, I'm like, this is not supposed to be like this at all.
My firewall Sork is like pretty tanky. I'm using all 4 defensive skills. I have the stuff that like gives you a barrier when you're using all your defensive skills. Obviously I have flame shield, so that gives you immunity, so I can survive with that. But like, if I get hit by one of those waves in phase 1, even with the barrier up, it's a one shot. I'm dead.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Like,
yeah, it's crazy. I'm not contesting it at all.
It's in my opinion, it is a horribly designed fight. It is not fun to play.
Yeah.
Half the time you don't know what killed you or how you died. A wave just spawned up your asshole and you just died.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, 100%. It just looks awful. Lightning Ball Sork just skips. You just ignore mechanics and boss fights, I found.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, if you have a busted build that one shots her, then like fine, it's not. But I'm saying if you actually have to play the fight as intended, where like, and my damage is decent, like I'm a dot build, so like, I'm not gonna one shot her. It like, her health ticks down like relatively steadily, but it's a dot build, so it takes a little bit.
Exactly, it's taken a while.
So you actually have to play the fight, and again, when you try to play the fight, it's not fun. It's bad.
Yeah, I'm not, like I said.
I worked at that for like a couple of hours a few times, and I was just like, yeah, this isn't worth my time.
Yeah,
this isn't fun. Like,
I get it, totally get it. I've been in that boat before for different stuff. Ghost saw me fight Varshan or whatever. And the first time I fought him, I was trying to play the mechanics. And I was like, yeah, this is kind of tough. This is being tough for me. Then the second time I fought him, I just ignored the mechanics. And I was like, okay, I'm just going to ignore it. I'm just going to run around this guy with my ball lightning. And I killed him so fucking fast. Yeah. And I was like, oh, you're just supposed to ignore mechanics with this build. You just don't care. You just run around this dude popping your defensive stuff all the time. Yep. I've learned how to play the bosses, and it's just ignore it. Ignore the boss mechanic. Just run around him. So silly. It's so silly. It's godly.
I like the idea of the new bosses, but most of them, like the mechanics are cool, but like in most builds, you don't have to play the mechanics.
Yeah, you don't have to play
like,
them.
They're not. They don't have enough health, and they don't do enough damage for you to like care about the mechanics
Exactly.
the vast majority of the time.
Exactly.
Like,
You're just like, you just ignore it. It's silly. I get it. It's kind of silly. Like the lightning ball. It's very silly how good it is. But I want that because I'm like, I don't want to necessarily struggle right now because I haven't gotten this far in the game.
Yeah, I mean,
before, so I'm like, okay.
I mean, that's part of an ARPG is power fantasy,
Yeah.
right? And it's like I'm just slaying
I'm
everything.
like, yeah.
So
I'm excited, but I can see like certain bosses playing the mechanic. I can see, God, this is annoying. But yeah, that's been my season experience so far.
I think some of the new bosses are like pretty cool mechanically. Again, unfortunately, they're just a bit undertuned for the most part. They don't have enough health and they don't do enough damage. So
sure, yeah. Anyway, but yeah, that's Diablo for me. I mean, I'm having fun, so not gonna say much else. I'm having a good time.
Yeah. Yeah, same. Again, I only played like 30 minutes of the season.
Okay.
So I don't really have anything to say about it. Got to 100 on my Sork, tried Uber Lilith a bit, and then that basically made me hate the game because the fight was so dog shit. So
that's why you gotta stop. Put it down. Don't you gotta put it down? That's exactly what you do. You put it down for a while, and you do something else. Like do the seasonal character. The seasonal character will be fun again. You'll find it'll be fun again. Especially Necro. Necro's great. Anyway.
So yeah. Other than that, I've been playing a little bit of Tales of Arise replay. I finished the second area, Cislodia.
Okay. Yep.
But haven't been playing it that much or that consistently.
Yep.
I doubt I'll finish it before the DLC comes out, which is in about 2 weeks.
Yeah. But you've already beaten it, so you've already played.
I've beaten it already. And then for some reason I got a hankering for like a SRPG type thing, even though like Persona 5 Tactica is coming out in a few weeks and I'm gonna play that. So I booted up Super Robot Wars and have been playing that a little bit again because I never finished Super Robot Wars 30. Honestly, I've only finished like a Super Robot Wars game like once or twice. The games are really interesting in that like they're really fun at first. You see the cool animations, you're recruiting all your like favorite units like your Gundams or your Gurren Lagann or your Code Geass or like whatever your favorite mechs from your favorite mecha anime. And then like partway through the game, you just kind of get burned out because all the missions are like really samey. They just throw like a million enemies at you and your characters just get really OP and you just kind of like run forward and watch them kill everything.
Yeah.
And there's not a lot of strategy to it, so
yeah.
This has happened to me with like every Super Robot Wars game I've played, where like you really enjoy it, like the beginning of the game, you're recruiting all these units, and then like a bit of maybe like a third to like halfway through the game, you just kind of get burned out because it's just like every level is basically the same. There's like no terrain, there's hardly any strategy. You just run forward and kill everything.
Yeah.
So
I mean, at some point, it would be nice if it... What the heck? That was weird. Okay. I guess I won't do that again. I was moving one of my screens so I could see better. But I moved it, and then it completely cut off Discord for some reason. So I guess I'm not moving that again. Anyway,
maybe I need to bump up the difficulty. Like, I think I've tried playing it on a harder difficulty before. Like, in the early game, at least, it's just like a big pain in the ass in the early game. Maybe it'll be better in the mid game. And Super Robot Wars 30, which is the one on the most recent one, which was released on Steam, is like, it is ungodly long. Like
how long?
the other games that I've played, at least, they're like, they have some route splits and stuff like that, but to do like a single playthrough, it's usually like 50 missions or something around there.
Okay.
Like high 40s, 50. I think I've seen some that are more around 60, but like, you know, that kind of general area, like 50 to 60, high 40s, 50, 60 missions. This game, there's like 60-ish like main missions, but there's like 200 side missions or something like that. just insanity how many
Yeah.
missions there are in this game.
Yeah. Man.
I think there's like, I think I saw a breakdown. It's like there's like 60-ish main missions. There's like 160 side missions, and there's
Jesus
like
Christ.
80. There's like 80 DLC missions.
What
So
the
it's
fuck?
just like there's like 300 missions in the game or something like that.
I mean, like,
And I've beaten like 110 missions or something
Right.
like that in my games. So
I mean,
I
like,
don't
it's a
know.
lot of content, but the question is it like, I don't
It's
want to
not
say
good.
Yeah, I was
It's
gonna
not
say, is it
good
good?
content for the most part. It's just like
Is it
really
good content, or is it just kind
again
of like
the missions for the most part are just like really samey, and you just
Yeah.
like run forward and kill everything, and that's kind of it.
Got it. I was just about to say, I was like, man, because that if it's not good content, it's kind of just a, I don't want to say it's a chore, but man,
I think I think this game especially is too bloated. I think
Sure.
again, even on the other games, you know, I'd burn out between like mission 20 and 30 or something like that. And those are the linear games. This one's like you just kind of pick which mission you're playing, as opposed to the other ones, which are basically completely linear with the exception of some route splits.
Yeah.
Like 30 is just super bloated. It is insanely bloated.
Yeah.
I think they could have cut the number of missions, like not main missions, but like side missions. They could have easily cut in half, and it would have been like fine.
Yeah. But you get,
So yeah,
you get a bunch.
we'll see if I actually finish it. I've enjoyed like going back to it and playing it a little bit more. But
I get that. As somebody who does that all the time, I get that.
I'm also really surprised that like we haven't gotten an announcement for a new Super Robot Wars game, because there was a point where they were releasing one like every year, or maybe every year and a half or so, and that game came out 2 years ago, and we have not heard a peep of a new Super Robot Wars game.
Gotcha. Interesting. Okay, maybe they're taking some time off, or maybe they're done. I don't know. It'd be interesting if they were.
I doubt they're done.
Considering how many
the series has existed for 30 years.
Yes, that's what I'm like, man. There's been a lot.
30 was a 30th anniversary game. I don't know why they would stop.
Maybe they're actually putting in some additional work and not just kind of do a refactor of the same.
Yeah, maybe they're changing some stuff up.
Yeah. Maybe they're putting work in.
We'll see.
Who knows? Okay. Super Robot Wars. Anyway.
Yeah, that's pretty much it for me.
Yep. Well, Diablo 2 already talked about. Playing Red Dead, I already joked about that. I'm very critical on Red Dead. I feel like somebody's gonna watch this and be like, "This guy hates this game." I like the game. To be clear, I like the game. The story is very good. This is like this is a good story. I like the. You know the story of the first Red Dead, I imagine, just from talking to us. But it's all about like this gang, okay? So it's the Dutch Vanderlyn gang. So the Red Dead 2 is just the fall of the Dutch Vanderlyn gang, okay? So it's just the story of how this gang was like pretty had a lot of notoriety and is falling apart. That's the story of this game, okay? It's very good. Game's very good. Main character's good. But I certainly have some qualms with it in certain areas. So I'm enjoying it. I'm actually almost done with it. And then outside of those two, I'm still playing Dead Space. I mean, that game is really fun. I will say again, there's been more happy changes that have made the game different enough that I've really enjoyed it, where I felt like it's obviously like it's Dead Space 1, right? But it's been different enough where I felt like it's fresh. It's a fresh game for me.
I think I heard that game went on Game Pass like this week, or maybe it's next.
Oh, that's
week,
great. People should play it. It's great. The way that they remade this is great. They did a great job. Good job. So that's been really fun. I mean, outside of that, I don't know. I've been in that mode. Those 3 games have kind of been my big ones. Looking to play Super Mario Wonder next month. I'll be excited to get on that. That'll be fun. Other than that, that's it for me. I don't have much to say on Red Dead 2. Like it's just about a gang that's collapsing. There's really not much else to say. Like, it's a good story though. I've enjoyed it. And then Dead Space, you know the story of Dead Space, so don't need to talk about it. But it's very good. Dead Space is good.
Yeah.
I'll say that. That's all I have to say, frankly. So.
Yeah. I haven't really been following it, but League of Legends like Worlds is going on right now. It's in Korea, so the games are at like midnight or something.
Yeah,
so it's hard to watch.
I haven't
one NA team made it out of first stage. They got to the knockout stage. So.
Oh really? Do we know which NA team? Do you know?
It's NRG, who was formerly CLG, I think. So.
Oh yeah, CLG collapsed and became NRG because NRG probably just bought the spot, or they bought the team.
I'm not sure.
Yo, League of Legends is weird. Those teams have turned over like crazy recently because of the esports collapse. Not collapse, but esports has taken a downturn. So a lot of those teams turned over. Some of the old guard, CLG being one of those. So I don't know.
Most of them, at least in NA, are like TSM, Cloud9.
Yeah, they're still there. They're still there for sure. Just, yeah, there's been so much turnover. It's hard to keep track when there's this much turnover. When there's a lot of turnover, it's kind of like soccer in Europe. There can be turnover, but it's not like this. Like only a couple teams move up and down in soccer year to year. But in League, it's like I feel like a couple teams. It's not just moving down. It's like they've just either lost their spot, been bought, collapsed.
Yeah,
it's just like crazy to see it. I don't know. Esports is weird right now. I know that there's still esports going and there's some popularity, but man, I have had so little interest in esports lately.
Yeah, I don't follow it that much. Occasionally, I'll put it on in the background or something, but.
I also be curious to know if esports has grown at all in the last few years. I want to know if it's actually grown.
Seem like it.
If you're in the outside looking in, you'd probably say it's been stagnating, and that's a problem. so they got to figure that out. But maybe it has been growing, and I just haven't seen it. But to me, it doesn't feel like it.
The viewer numbers seem down to me, but I don't know if that's actually true.
I've seen that happening, and I'm like, okay, this is not good. Your audiences are not tuning in as much. What's going on? But yeah, I haven't checked on League in a while, just to wrap that up. But let me see. LOL Worlds 2023. They're what NA teams did make it? Let's see.
We're in Worlds, Cloud9, Liquid, and NRG, and then you had one other team that was in the like the play-in, but they lost like literally their very first game, so they didn't.
Let me see.
Go far at all. I don't remember which team it was.
Yeah. Oh, here's the play-in stage. I don't even know who. I don't know. I don't recognize some of these. They changed the format though. It's not groups anymore.
It's not groups. It's called like Swiss format, where
Oh, interesting.
It's like you need 3. If you get 3 wins, you get to knockouts, and if you get 3 losses, you get kicked out. It's best of 1s until you either get to 2 wins or 2 losses, and then it's best of 3. So you can only get knocked out or get promoted in a best of 3. So.
What? Oh, if it's Swiss format, that means that like the better teams are going to play against each other. Like the higher record teams would play against each other.
Right. So like if you win your first game, you go 1-0, and then all the 1-0 teams play each other. If you lost the first game, you go 0-1, and then all the 0-1 teams play. What? The 0-1 teams play each other, and then it like splits up again. You need 3 wins to get into the next stage, and three losses knocks you out.
Wait, that's interesting. I wonder why they changed the format. That's very
And again, if you have 2 wins or 2 losses, you're playing a best of 3 until you either get in or you're knocked out.
That's super interesting. Very interesting kind of format.
I actually like again. I didn't really watch it, but like format wise, it actually seems pretty decent.
It is.
The groups.
It's a decent format. I'm not contesting it. I won't say it's. I don't want to say it's completely common, but I do see a lot. I do see events doing that, the Swiss style, and I do like it. Like Overwatch actually, for Open Division, I think did a Swiss format at one point for their Open Division, because they wanted the top teams to prove they were top. Looking at the prize money,
I think it's just down to like the two. I think everything is resolved except like there's some 2-2 teams left. I think like 2 or 3 more teams can make it, and 2 or more.
Oh, I see. Interesting. Okay, got it. Because I'm looking at Okay. The prize pool is $2,225,000.
That's a lot of money.
Good money. Obviously, it's split up. The winning team gets $445,000. Okay, I do see some 2-2 teams. So there's.
So does everyone, like even like the 8th or the last place team gets a little bit? Then
yes, even in the stage, I think if you get 21 to 22, so if you're in the actual world's like Swiss stage,
if you got into Swiss stage, then you're getting.
I think you're getting something if you're in Swiss stage. Although there's 15. How many teams are in Swiss? 1, 2, 3,
16.
4, 16. So it's more than that because it's 21. So
maybe even some of the play-in teams.
Some of the play-in teams must get it too. Some of the play-in teams must get it too. I'm looking at some of the numbers here. So the actual 2-2 teams left are Billy Gaming. Is this a China? It's a China team. Okay. D+ Kia. Kia. Okay. Korean team. Fnatic, G2 Esports from Europe.
Oh wow, EU actually isn't in knockouts yet. G2 or Fnatic needs to win that last match to get into groups, so we don't have any.
And
EU team
they're not playing each other. They're not playing.
Yeah,
they're not playing each other, so they could both go in.
I think there was a point like in I think the first draw after the first week. Yeah, in the 01 bracket, you had NRG played Liquid, and then Mad Lions played BDS. So you had some NA on NA and some EU on EU action. So
interesting. KT Rollster from Korea, and then Weibo Gaming from China. Weibo. Cloud9's out. Gam Esports is out. Mad Lions is out. Team BDS. Team Liquid. So there's 2 European teams out already. Liquid and Cloud9. Liquid didn't win a single game. Good job.
Yeah, Liquid didn't win a single game.
Good job, Liquid. Man.
Did they even? No, they won 1 game in their 0-2 match. It was a best of 3. They won 2-1. So they won 1 game. They didn't win a match. But they did win 1 game.
They did win 1 game. Well, they did it. Interesting. Very interesting. Bilibis Chinese version of YouTube. Got it. I don't know. I just don't have any Worlds interest at the moment, but maybe I'll check one. I mean, the games are at midnight, so
again, they start at midnight. There was a few times where it started at 10, and I watched like a little bit, but or like 9 or 10 p.m. But let's see, the rest of the way, it's either midnight, 1 a.m. and then 12 a.m. again. Okay. So
good stuff.
It's like I'm not watching that.
Yeah, I'm not staying up for that.
I mean, it's in Korea, so
yeah, I get it.
That's what it is.
Understandable. Anyway, yeah. Well, I don't have anything else, frankly.
No, me neither.
Okay, we can wind things down here. We'll conclude. Videos will go up next week. We'll still have our podcast next week. And we'll talk about schedulings for next month, because obviously for Thanksgiving, I think we're going to be taking that week off. But we'll start talking about holiday schedules and things like that in the coming weeks, by the way, for podcasts. But next week we'll be back, and we'll be talking about
BlizzCon.
We're going to talk about BlizzCon, particularly the Friday opening ceremonies there.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. That's going to do it. thanks everybody for joining, and we'll see y'all next week.
Sounds good.